Introduction to John Jackson's book, Introduction to African Civilizations. Dr. John Henry Clark writes, the distinguished Afro-American poet, Countee Cullen, began his poem Heritage with the question, what is Africa to me? The new writers of African history must extend this question by asking, what is Africa to Africans and what is Africa to the world? Asking these questions emphasizes the need for a total re-examination of African history. In his more than 40 books, in his lectures, and in his dedication to telling the truth about African people, Dr. Clark has given us a solid foundation to build upon in our re-examination of African history. We, the Social Action Committee of the Compton Avenue Baptist Church, are honored to have as a guest lecturer this evening Dr. John Henry Clark.
Thank you very much. We have quite a lot to do, and if we devoted a week to it, we would not have enough time. I'd like to begin the discussion concerning black women in history by saying that the fact that we are discussing her separate from black men proves that discussion is out of order and we are outside of the cultural container of our original development. If we were within the cultural container of our original development, we would not discuss her out of context with discussing the man, because no more than we would discuss one half of a peach or one half of an orange without consideration of the other half. We're not talking about one thing dependent on the other thing. We're talking about something that balances the other thing and makes it whole. We're not talking about someone's better half. We're talking about the other half that gives balance and meaning to the other half to create a whole. We came out of a cultural incubator that said this, did not preach it, created no dogma around it, did not formalize it with a whole lot of literature, but wisely arrived at the conclusion in relationship to it and lived it out. Because we did not create massive literature around it, the assumption is that we did not know it, but we knew it so well, we did not have to proclaim it in dogma, in literature, And inasmuch as we were living it out, we understood that the role of the woman, while being different, was equal in importance. And there were times when the role of the woman and the role of the man was one and the same. There were times when we recognized the woman as the life giver. Then as the life giver, we recognize that role as being over and above something that man could do. And in turn, woman recognized the man as the planter of the seed and the carrier of the seed through which life would emerge. But she fertilized the seed and nurtured it into a human being and shaped the human being. No one had to debate this. The debate over the role of women, the categories of man and woman, the creation of confusion about relationship between mother, father, mother, son, came out of Western sociology and psychiatry, mostly middle-class Jews of Central Europe. Because we do not look as well as we need to behind the history curtain, behind the slavery curtain. We forget that history is being interpreted through the lens of people who were from the beginning afraid of the woman in power. While the African was not only relaxed with her in power, permitted her to go as far as her mind could take her without feeling the slightest insecurity. But in a society of plenty, in a society where land was enough, water was enough, women was enough, he could feel secure. The European who imposed his will and created a literature containing a protracted rationale was afraid of the woman in power, and so he created for his women the same kind of rationale to justify his domination over her as he created to justify his domination over non-European women. In other words, what has happened with the European everywhere he has gone in the world is a process that can crudely be called niggerization. Having reduced most of the world to the process and the status of niggerization, he reduced his women to the same status. Now, because the African did not have to do this, he had a different attitude. And the African today, in his relationship to women, have some of the same faults as the European he's imitating. In fact, the great drawback is the African with these faults. And the one in the Western world have added to these faults by being an imitator. No man's got that much energy anyway. This is why I think Walt Chamberlain is the biggest liar who ever lived. Half of that society, that is the female half. That does not mean you're going to let the woman rule over this society, run roughshod, disobey every rule in the society. She has the same things And we see now the village, a cluster of villages coming together for protection. But we see an evolution of something in Africa that did not take place in Europe. And this is why there is, to or otherwise,